Alright, hello and welcome to the eVenture Family channel. If it's your first time here, please go ahead and subscribe. We have always got lots of EV news, reviews, and adventures here on the channel, so you don't want to miss any of that. And today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Rivian software update, which isn't quite as flashy as some of the most recent updates we've got, but I think one of the coolest things about it is that we're getting yet another set of new features, a tremendous number of bug fixes, including one that fixes what has quickly become my biggest annoyance here in the Rivian and just drives me absolutely crazy. And now it seems to be, I think, completely fixed. So we'll talk about that. I'll show you all of the updates here, and we'll go through basically everything that's changed here. And I think, again, what this just highlights is the amazing power that Rivian has got with all of these over-the-air software upgrades. And I really think they're on such a hot streak right now that we can now unequivocally say that Rivian is leading the way with software updates right now. Tesla's doing, whatever it is Tesla does. Maybe Lucid's got some like pretty big meaty updates across the summer, but Rivian now is on this streak where they've just added function after feature after improvement over the course of several months now. And for a vehicle now that is coming up on a year old for us, and people that are also in the first generation vehicles like this that might be at like 2 or 3 years now, it's just amazing that we're basically getting like pretty major new features in these vehicles now that make it feel fresh and new constantly. And even with the Gen 2 vehicles out there starting to get some updates that are branching off a little bit from our Gen 1 vehicles, it does not feel like we're being left behind all that much at this point, and it is just incredible that they're paying so much attention to them and they are just whacking the ball out of the park. So anyway, we'll talk about all of that. Come along with me and let's drive. Alright, so let's take a look at our update here. But first off, we're going to start with what is my favorite thing here, which is that they have finally fixed this bug that was just killing me every time I got in the Rivian here. Anytime that it would that you'd get out, it would basically go to sleep after a few minutes, and something would like interrupt the internet connection and break whatever music playback you were doing. So whether it was Apple Music like we're doing here, or Spotify, or even Amazon Music through ALEXA, every single time you get in here, you couldn't even hit play. You would just sit here and spin. You'd have to like go back and browse through again and like pick a new playlist and start up a queue again and everything. And it would just never work. Whereas now, this car's been off for about half an hour now. I even had it charging, and so I know for a fact at one point it restarted. And so I can just hit play. It takes a second. Oh, are you gonna make me a liar here, Rivian? All right, there we go. And that's not even in Atmos and it sounds that good. All right, so first time there was just because of our Wi-Fi. All right, anywho, that is my number one here. So I don't even care about any of the other features. That is awesome. So again, this comes on top of basically now, I want to say like 3 or 4 months of some pretty huge updates. So last month we got this new accent lighting in here. I've been enjoying this Forest Valley here at night. A little bit hard to see in here, but can we see it? Not really. Nice green glow that kind of goes with the forest edge interior that we've got here at night, but the kids like changing it around, so we've been mixing them up. But that's super cool that, we had these lights in here obviously for the year that we've had this vehicle, and it was always stuck on one color before, but they have this capability in the hardware and they just unblocked it now through the software, which is super cool. And then the month before that is when we got our Apple Music and Audible in here, and Dolby Atmos, and our Connect Plus thing, which are amazing, and this is the best sounding vehicle I've ever had, without a doubt, especially with those Dolby Atmos ones. And then the month before that is when we got essentially this new UI here in the vehicle with like this cell shading, kind of cartoony type view. It is not nighttime, but I guess it's so dark out here we're kind of in night mode. And so anyway, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at all of our new features here. All right, so we are on version 2024.35, which is our latest one. So the big marquee feature here is Gear Guard Live Cam, and this is a feature which is exclusive to the Connect Plus subscription. So right now we're all on a trial of this. We're a little more than halfway through. So we've got, I think it was a 60-day trial. We're more than 30 days through. So we're kind of counting down the minutes now, but they're giving us all of these features now, including like the media streaming and this Gear Guard Live Cam where we can view the video camera from the app, which I'll show in a minute. But one of the interesting things here, or kind of concerning things, is that we're running out of trial time here, and we still have not got access to the Google Cast stuff for like video playback. So I'm really hoping that we will get a chance to check that out before the trial expires, so we can know if we want to keep this or not. We also have a tri-zone climate now with distinct zones from the driver, passenger, and rear passenger seats. And each of those will be independent. We've got new animations for our drive mode settings now that show you basically what the clearance is going to be and what each of the changes when you make in the drive modes actually do. And then just look at all of these bug fixes here too. I think this is probably the biggest thing of this update. Those other features are great, but like this one, it kind of seems like they took the time to just fix a bunch of bugs that have been introduced or just hadn't been addressed in the latest updates that they've just been rapidly thrown out here. So we have better volume settings for level adjustments on our audio systems. One thing I've noticed here now is you used to have this huge difference between different tracks on music playback, especially with Apple Music, where one song, you know, all at the same volume level, the first song would just be like super quiet, so you turn it up and then you go to the next song and it was so loud it was hurting your head. So seems like they have improved that and kind of smoothed it out pretty consistently now. And then they fixed some stuff where like garage doors were not showing before. We never had that, but I've seen other people have had that. Some fixes to like outlets and stuff. And then this is the one for us, I guess. Fixed the issue that prevented some vehicles from playing audio after vehicle sleep or software update unless you adjusted the volume using the left thumb wheel or the center display. I guess I never realized like that was the way to kind of fix it, but it never actually seemed to work for us. So definitely seems like they have successfully fixed that now. And then all of these improvements for Apple Music too. And I've seen a couple for Audible also with like playback position syncing and stuff. So lots of good fixes and stuff here. All right, so let's take a look at this drive one. This is one of the more like in-your-face ones. So like I said, we've had this nice UI here now for a couple of updates, at least for a few months. And so one of the cool things here is like when you would change these modes, it shows you you know, these like different versions here to give you an idea of what each mode is, you know, basically for. With like little animations with the car driving and stuff. But you never had any information here about, you know, the ride height, the ride feel, the regen, and the stability. And so now, if we change these, we can actually see how much ground clearance we have and how much roof clearance we have. Now, an important thing here is that that roof clearance is not with the racks on, but this is so helpful. This would have absolutely helped us a ton when we were in Montreal, and there were all of these like short garage door entrances that I never knew if our vehicle was actually going to fit or not, and I had to like keep looking on my phone and Googling what the height of the vehicle was, and now we can just, you know, see that here. And so super cool. I can see like all the way now at the, how do I get into lowest? I think you have to go into off-road for that. Oh, I know what it is. You have to go to, it's probably not good for us to be going up and down like this, but sport mode, I think, and there we go. Now lowest. So you can see at the very lowest, 70.7 inches and 8.3 inches of ground clearance. All right, and auto. Now we can also change our ride feel here, and so this gives us an idea of like how much it's basically, you know, smoothing out the bumps and stuff. For regen here, we can see, you know, basically this little green bar showing us how much regen is being applied. Be like high, and then for stability here, you can see with reduced, you're gonna get a little drift, and then you have to hold down. That'll put you in off, and now we can go into full drift mode. So awesome to get this better idea of all of that. Now, one thing here is if you have this pane open, which I always like to because it shows all the cool nerd details and stuff. Basically now, if you change this, you can't see that because this pane is hiding it, but you can just swipe back over there to see it again. All right, now one other cool feature here is that we now have the ability to view our Gear Guard cameras live from the Rivian app here. So you do have to update your Rivian mobile app here, and then once you're in here, you will have the ability to look at the cameras from all 4 sides of the vehicle. And so here you can see there's our beautiful Equinox over there on the left of us. Here's behind us in the garage. Go right, and we can do full screen mode here, and we can actually even set off the alarm here in case something bad is happening. So now we can keep an eye on the vehicle all of the time and make sure nothing nefarious is going on around our precious, precious Rivian. All right, now one thing to keep in mind here with the GearGuard live camera is that we do need to have the Connect Plus subscription. Otherwise, you will not be able to view that. I think even with tethering or on Wi-Fi, that's not going to work. It has to be the Connect Plus subscription, which is one of the things that they're using to help upsell you onto that. All right, and then last but not least here, we now have the option for 3 different climate control zones. So you can see we've always had these 2 here between the driver and passenger, and you can just synchronize those and keep them together. But now we also have the ability to set our rear rows to a different temperature. So you can see we are still here at 70 degrees in the front, and now the back has a different temperature. So this is great with the kids or pets back there if somebody is, I don't know, maybe hot and sweaty from their hockey practice, and mom and dad up here are cold still from being in the ice rink, just as an example, you know. So that is cool. And then we also have the ability to see and check this from the back. So I'll show you that. Let's unlock that. And now, so here it is on the screen in the back here, and you can see we're set to 62, and we can change our own climate control temperatures back here. Looks like we can even control the back one, which is not the front one. So you can set that independently now. Super cool and great with the little bugs back there. All right, so that is the latest software update, version 2024.35 here in our Rivian R1S. And this is, again, the Gen 1 Rivian R1S. So same updates are coming to Gen 2, and it is not officially part of this update yet, but we did get some rumors confirmed now that there will be another Halloween update this year. So last year, before the ambient lighting was an option, there was like this Halloween mode that Rivian vehicles had that would allow you to put the lights to orange. I think there was maybe like some custom headlight animation or something. And then it also changed the door lock and unlock sounds from like the bird chirp to, I think it was like a werewolf howl or something. And now this year, we're going to have an update that basically turns your Rivian into the Night Rider vehicle kit. And so on the Gen 2 vehicles, where they have the different dynamic lights on the light bar in the front, it'll actually have like the animation where those lights, you know, kind of go up sequentially. We don't have that option here in the Gen 1 because it's all just one light. So I don't know exactly what we're going to get, if we're going to get this at all or just like a limited version of it. So time will tell. But it is one place now where the features and functionality are starting to diverge between Gen 1 and Gen 2. And we are now on separate updates basically between them. So they're both getting the updates at roughly the same time. But a few of the things here as part of this one are actually unique to Gen 1 vehicle and only coming to Gen 2 in like the next couple of weeks. But there are now features like this Halloween thing that are going to be different entirely between Gen 1 and Gen 2. So yeah, not super thrilled about that, considering our Gen 1 here is less than a year old, and some of this stuff we're not going to be getting, but it's still an awesome vehicle, and the fact that we're being supported as well as we are already and still is still awesome to me, so I don't regret that all that much. All right, so like I said, I think this is, you know, not like the biggest update compared to some of the other huge ones we've had recently, but the fact that this comes, you know, hot on the heels of some of these other big ones is pretty impressive, and I'm glad that they took the time this time to fix some of the bugs that have been introduced or just lingering out there for a while, especially the music one. All right, so let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this update? Is it something exciting since they are fixing stuff and still adding a couple of new features, or is this a frustrating one because we're starting to see bigger differences between Gen 1 and Gen 2? Or is this a dud because there's no like major marquee feature on this one, I guess, other than the Gear Guard live cam, which honestly is still pretty good. So I don't know if there's much to complain about this one, but people always do. So anyway, with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you out there for another electric adventure soon.